Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Now today I was going through some of my older Mortal Kombat videos and began to wonder how different the timeline could have changed if particular events were altered and certain ideas came to fruition that didn't once exist. Now this idea derived from the whole butterfly effect we saw from Mortal Kombat 9, where Raiden sent a message to his past self in order to alter events of the past to create a better future. Now as we all know, these instructions were extremely vague and did lead to a lot of collateral damage. So I thought to myself, let's go back to the original timeline and talk about what would have happened to the rest of the entire Mortal Kombat universe if Shao Kahn defeated Liu Kang in the third Mortal Kombat tournament, how events would have transpired, and how this would in fact lead to him coming into contact with other characters in the series of which he'd never meet in the first place. Because as we know at the end of the original Mortal Kombat timeline, Shao Kahn did more or less win, but what exactly would have happened if his victory happened much earlier? Well, let's talk about it. And for the purpose of expanding the universe and roster, let's just say that Shao Kahn lost in the second tournament. He was defeated by Liu Kang, but during MK3, he was able to gain the upper hand on the Shaolin monk, defeating him in Mortal Kombat. So what actually happens then? Well, I'm 100% sure about this because it is Shao Kahn. He would kill Liu Kang. He would do this out of vengeance and malice, but he would do this because Shao Kahn could not allow someone this powerful to be walking across the realms and interfering with what he does. So he would kill Liu Kang to invoke fear and despair in the Earthrealmers. And no doubt in my mind, after doing this, he would set his eyes on Raiden, as he would want to kill him for all of the trouble he has caused. But much like the MK9 reboot, Raiden would most likely become empowered by the Elder Gods. You see, in MK9, it wasn't so much the battle that bothered the Elder Gods, but more so the fact that Shao Kahn attempted to merge Outworld with Earthrealm, which is something you're not allowed to do unless you've won 10 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments. And considering that Liu Kang broke that streak in MK1, it would actually force Shao Kahn to redo another 10 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments before he can actually merge the realms. Now we know the outcome of what will happen if Shao Kahn actually challenges the Elder Gods, as we did see that at the end of MK9, but for the sake and purpose of extending the story and seeing what else does happen, let's say that Shao Kahn withdraws and decides to reinvoke his ability to commence another Mortal Kombat tournament. Well, what happens then? Well, you can expect a very happy Shao Kahn returning back home to Outworld satisfied, as he was able to break the spirits of the Earthrealmers by killing the biggest obstacle he had in his way, and he believes that from this point onwards, Earthrealm will in fact be in the palm of his hands. But no doubt his retreat from Earthrealm will most definitely cause a disruption in what's going on politically, and it most likely will raise a lot of questions with a lot of Outworld leaders, for example King Gorbak. As you see, the Shogun have been working with the Outworlders as they have always lived in the same realms, and the Shogun weren't conquered. They willingly work with Shao Kahn in exchange for peace and protection. But with Shao Kahn retreating, something that's uncharacteristic of Shao Kahn, I could see this raising a lot of questions for King Gorbak. Now before anything does happen, I see this being the perfect opportunity for the fallen Elder God Shinnok to strike. As you see in the original timeline, many members of Shao Kahn's forces were in fact members of the Brotherhood of Shadows, a secret army that was created and put together by Shinnok and Quan Chi. He had purposely planted many individuals on Shao Kahn's side so that they could act when the time was needed, and with Earthrealm and Outworld forces clearly weakened from their battle, it would be the best time and opportunity for him to strike, as both sides would be weak, and it would for the most part be a formidable battle. However, I 100% see Shinnok failing, and the reason I say this is because in the original timeline, after Shao Kahn was defeated, Queen Sindel and Katana were able to return back to Edenia and was able to reassert that realm before it was invaded and attacked by the Brotherhood of Shadow, and Shinnok did this while simultaneously attacking Earthrealm. Now in this what if universe, with Edenia still being part of Outworld, it means that Shinnok would come into direct conflict with Shao Kahn, which is something he did actively try to avoid, seeing as he only attacked after Shao Kahn was weakened when he was defeated by Liu Kang in the original original timeline. And let's say hypothetically that Shinnok didn't actually attack Edenia and instead just solely focused on Earthrealm. Well, once again, that would be interfering with Shao Kahn's plans and what he has in store for that particular realm. So either way, Shinnok would have to come into direct conflict with Shao Kahn if he were to invoke an attack, which as you can tell here is something he would do. Now the reason I'm going to say that Shao Kahn is going to absolutely demolish Shinnok and his forces is because here Shao Kahn hasn't lost any of his strength. He is still at his peak, and Shinnok at this point in time has put a lot of trust in his army, himself, and most importantly Quan Chi. And this is where Shinnok falls, as in the original timeline, Quan Chi takes the amulet of Shinnok for his own and gives Shinnok a fake relic. And that's what led to Shinnok's fall in the original timeline. But unlike the original where Shinnok was banished back to the Netherrealm, I see Shao Kahn straight up killing Shinnok, as the less opposition he does have, the more realms he does have to conquer. And with the Netherrealm no longer having a guardian like Shinnok or Quan Chi to guard it, it seems like it's more or less up for grabs. And if that means he can merge the realms with no issue at all, then that is absolutely something that he will attempt to do. Not saying though that there won't be some form of active resistance. As fun fact, back before the first Mortal Kombat game, Shao Kahn challenged the Netherrealm to a Mortal Kombat tournament and did actually fail in his conquest, and thus would set his eyes on other realms. Now although he would like to acquire the Netherrealm at this point, he still has his eyes set on Earthrealm, as he would have a personal vendetta towards Raiden, as they have unfinished business that is yet to be resolved. Now here are where things would get quite interesting. At the end of MK3, after Shinnok was defeated, Raiden was given the opportunity to become a proper Elder God. Understandably, an opportunity he would take as soon as it presented itself. But with Shao Kahn doing it in this universe, what would his reward be? Would it be a realm? No, I highly doubt that, because the Elder Gods wouldn't single-handedly hand over a realm to one individual. So I feel like the rules of Mortal Kombat would change. Instead of winning 10 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments, I believe that they would shorten it down to 5. Still meaning that Earthrealm did have a chance of pushing back, but the quality of combatants would have to be much better. And that is something I do see happening, as let's face it, that's what leads up to Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Well, that's more so a universal thing than just an Earthrealm thing. Now as from what you can tell, Outworld would once again begin another Mortal Kombat tournament with Earthrealm, with Shao Kahn putting out his best combatants in order to take them down. But here is where things take a completely different turn. As you all know, after MK3, we are in the 3D era of Mortal Kombat games, and the first somewhat proper installment in the 3D era was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, of which Quan Chi and Shang Tsung were able to kill the original Liu Kang and seemingly Shao Kahn. Now do I believe that the two could pull it off in this what if universe? Yes, I actually do believe that Shao Kahn would die by the hands of these two, and the reason as to why I'm saying that is because Shao Kahn, as strong as he is, would not be outmatched if he were to take these individuals on in one-on-one combat. He would absolutely demolish them, but fighting two at once would be quite unfair for the Emperor. Not saying that he wouldn't hold his own, but Quan Chi at this point in time would still have the amulet of Shinnok in his hands, thus making both the sorcerers extremely powerful. Because do remember, back in the original timeline, they were capable of bringing down Raiden, but please do keep that in mind here. I believe that the two would be able to overpower Shao Kahn and actually kill him. Now no, this wouldn't be a clone like in the original timeline, because back in the original timeline, Shao Kahn was smart enough to realize that he was so incredibly underpowered than what he was originally that it put a target on his back for anyone to pin him down and kill him, and thus he created a decoy for that sole reason. In this what if scenario, he would be at the peak of his physicality and understandably be very arrogant after slaying an Elder God. But I believe that his arrogance and cocky attitude would actually lead to his own demise because of this, which, all let's face it, is a very notable trait of this character. It has led to his defeat on many different occasions in the original timeline and in the new one, so something like this is indeed very possible. Plus I believe at this point in time he would have his eyes set on Earthrealm and nothing else, so he would be taken by surprise, because he was so close to merging the realms before it was stopped by Liu Kang, and now with Liu Kang out the picture, he wants to guarantee his own success, especially when he only has to win 5 consecutive tournaments in order to merge a realm. But yeah, that is actually it for this what if scenario, guys. I know Deception happens after this, and Onaga tends to bring back a bunch of characters, but do remember these are all the individuals that were killed outside of the Dragon King's temple, whereas Shao Kahn was killed in his throne room back out in Outworld. Anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed it. It's something that's definitely very new to the channel, but I was thinking of this idea and thought I'd kind of expand on it more. I wanted to link it close to the original timeline and try to stay true to a lot of the iconic parts that happened in the original series. I also, for the most part, wanted to retain a lot of the characteristics that Shao Kahn does possess. His cocky, arrogant attitude, but also how he is a tactician. Shao Kahn may be a brute, but he's one with brains, and that's what makes Shao Kahn such a formidable force in the series. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. Now do let me know if you would like me to do some other what if scenarios, because the Mortal Kombat universe is filled with a plethora of different characters and huge cataclysmic events. So if you do have any interesting what if scenarios, please put them down in the comments below. I may decide to expand on those ideas and create a very interesting what if scenario off the idea. So yeah, that's more or less it, guys. I do want to apologize for not uploading on Tuesday. I was actually working on a rather intensive video where I was kind of creating a Mortal Kombat cinematic universe, but I don't have too much faith in that project. I might decide to go through with it if you guys are actually interested with it, but for now I'm going to put it on the back burner and suss out any problems that I do have with the script. Anyway guys, before this video wraps up, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. By giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. And if you want to go that extra step, we also have a Patreon set up. Now, a link for it will be down in the description below. Anyway guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.